Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader Guide. In this case we got Marazhai build for the Infinite Museion version of the game 1.6 and beyond. The build was made to work on unfair difficulty. If it works on unfair, it works on all other difficulties as well. Let's not waste time and let's go. We start off from Marazhai's Itemization. One set should have a Bloodseeker Clave or any highest damage two-handed melee weapon, and the other one should have two one-handers like Sharpened Venom Blade and Jin Blade of Itemisation. Extremely valid is also a Virulent Slicer, and of course Omega late game Torn Clave for the two-hander. A very good one-handed blade on Marazhai is also a Sharpened Poison Hekatari Blade. And of course there's also a Master Crafted Hekatari Blade. Heart Piercer is also the weapon you can consider equipping. And for the Omega late end game is the Blade of the Blood Hunter. So Marazhai has plenty of great weapons to play with. Your choice what you wanna do with all of those weapons. I told you what's the best. Highest damage with highest arm pen is usually the best. Now what do we do with helmet? Vivisector Visor is the best option on Marazhai, and the Blackheart Kabal Origin Kabalite Armor is absolutely the best thing that you can equip for the body armor. The other option would be the Gift of the Grave Lotus and Reinforced Incubus Armor. But both of those armors are medium armors, and Marazhai wants high dodge. Light armor provides the highest amount of dodge. For the trinkets, we're gonna use Notes on Weaknesses, and we're gonna use Litany of Exhaustion. For the amulet, we're gonna use Requiamator. For the gloves, of course, it's Spiked Gloves, the best ones on Marazhai, and for the cloak, we're gonna use a Swashbuckler Cloak with Death World War Boots. This itemization allows Marazhai one simple thing: he's never gonna mess with melee attack. That's extremely important for the assassin. Marazhai doesn't have any augments, so we can straight up go to the archetypes. We can't touch the warrior, cause warrior is how it is on Marazhai, but what we can touch with talents when we find Marazhai is the archetypes, and that would be the assassin. Now what do we do with Marazhai and the assassin? Seek the opening, into the Dance Macabre, into the Eye for the Unscated, then is Dispatch ult, into the Action Point Power Spike increase, into the Agility, and into the Lone Killer. Then we're gonna take Agility, into Athletics, and into the Death Whisper. Bread and butter for every assassin, yeah. After that we're gonna take Lethality Heightens, into the Weapon Skill, and into the Dual Weapon Combat. For the next level, we're gonna take Deadly Calculation, into the Weapon Skill, and into Athletics again. Ulti upgrade number 2 on Dispatch, then we're gonna use Characteristic Training into Agility with Ambush. After that it's Perception, into Carouse, and we're gonna use Elusive Shadow, his best defensive ability. After that we're gonna take Mantle of Agony, into the Bringer of Doom, into Carouse, and for the final part is Professional Acumen, into Strength, and into It Will Not Die. We finish with Ulti upgrade number 3. After we're done with the Assassin, we're gonna go to the Exemplar, and the very first one we're gonna take is Insta Destroyer for the Exemplar talent. After that we're gonna take Shearing Strikes, into the Athletics, and into Esquive. After that we're gonna take Weapon Skill, into the Prey on the Weak, then we're gonna take Sworn Enemy from the Warrior, into the Athletics, then we're gonna take Know It All, into the Elusive Speed. That would be the upgrade for the Elusive, the only defensive ability by the way. After that we're gonna take Agility, into the Ramming Speed, Increase Charge. Then we're gonna take Poise Strike, into the Agility, and then we're taking Perfect Opening, into the Trueborn Superiority. On the next level we're gonna take Carouse, into the Critical Velocity, into the Action Point Power Spike increase. After that we're taking Thick Skin, into the Demolition, and then we're gonna take Clenched Teeth, into the Lorg Xenos. After that we're taking Carmine Whisper, upgrade for the Deadly Whisper, and weapon skill. On the next level, we're taking Strength into the Lord Xenos and Flesh Wounds into the Epicenter of Slaughter. For the final phase, we're taking Seize the Advantage into the Lord Xenos, into the Invigorated Hatred, and into the Swift Movements. Then is the Killing Edge into Strength, and we finish with a Perfection Under Fire into the Morbid Pirouette and action point power spike increase. How do we play Marazhai? Marazhai is an assassin. You gotta sit and wait in a full cover until you can reach multiple enemies at once and until enemies are all close together. Why? Because that's when you wanna use Breakthrough, when you wanna use Dance Macabre, all of those assassin abilities to position behind enemies and use openings. When you hit the opening, Marazhai hurts like crazy, but you gotta be patient for that. So what is the usual way once you find Marazhai in Act 3 and how you should play with him? You wanna use Joyful Torture and you wanna charge into an enemy. After that, you wanna try and get the breakthrough for the slash. Then you can use slash multiple times. And after that, you're gonna use base attack into the opening. Then you're gonna aim for the opening. And then you're gonna use that Whisper, and you finish the round with Elusive Shadow. That's the best combo that you can trigger on Marazhai. For the Omega late game, on all of that I said, once you get close to an enemy, you wanna make the enemy that you wanna kill a sworn enemy, and then you wanna do Poised Strike and Killing Edge before hitting them with base attacks. Do not forget to aim for the openings non-stop, because that's how you deal damage as an assassin. Once and before the round ends, if Marazhai is surrounded by enemies, you can escape with Dance Macabre and trigger Elusive Shadow. He should be quite safe after those two. Of course, for some extra protection, if you have some action point available after all of this, which I doubt that's gonna happen, okay, in Act 5, but before that, there is no way. In Act 5, you can end up with Endure as well. The entire point with Marazhai is how you position and when will you enter all of the fights. Very good to apply on Marazhai are some buffs from the Officer or from some Psychers, okay, especially from Biomancy, and then he's gonna hit even harder. On its own, alone, he is quite squishy, but when you cast right spells on Marazhai before he plays, he can become extremely OP, especially with a Daring Breach, when he can hit a lot of times in the endgame for some huge damage with aim for the opening. When we use this patch, only when we fight bosses. That would be it with Marazhai. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you on the next one. Thanks for watching.